Who the hell can wait till morning? Talk now at latenightsportsradio.com.
If Jerry Jones offered you $1 million to pee on him, would you do it?
Well, I don't have to put anything on me, so yeah, I'd pee on Jerry Jones. That would be like a dream come true, actually.
And we are back a little bit heavier, but we are back in the friendly confines. Another fine-to-eyed edition of the Claire-Vs-Carlson Show. There are many things you can put in your ears. This is one of them. A Late Night Sports Radio Network, latenightsportsradio.com. She is Claire Dario Mullins at the Claire Bear 23 NFL Female Podcast. She's the boss over there. You know what's up. I'm Andy Carlson at Andy Carlson Show and at Purple for the Win, purpleftw.com. Vikings podcast, Ombre, all that good stuff. And we're at Claire versus Carlson on the Twitter machine, YouTube, iTunes, Spreaker, everything. Facebook.com/Claire versus Carlson Show. Blah, blah, blah. Claire, hi.
Hey, what's going on, bro?
Fantastic. Now, you were shuffling less in the background during the intro spiel, so you deserve mad props.
I didn't shuffle at all, let's be honest.
And you also had mad hops like Jeremy Lin. The greatest basketball player in the history of basketball. You guys were fools for letting him go.
Are we being real here?
We've been real, son.
Why would you say such a thing?
Because Team Yellow. As I am a fellow Asian American, we must stick together. There's very few of us.
Oh, yes, very few. Have you ever been to California?
No, I meant in the NBA.
Oh, well, yeah. You're not in the NBA either.
Well, have you ever been to California? I feel like you could use this argument. Have you ever been to a casino? You see lots of us there.
Oh, well, that's true, too.
Yep.
So, there you go.
But already sidetracked and already borderline a little racist, but we have lots to talk about today. Thanksgiving, 3 games that look great on paper turned out to be but still NFL. We got some dog love. We talk NFL trades that we would love to see. We have a game, play or nay, except this time I'm in the chair, and Claire has got the questions, allegedly. Excited about that. We also have our Week 13 picks. Week 12 picks were a bloodbath, and I don't really want to get into that. And I have a proposal for Claire towards the end, and we also recap some upcoming movies and what they are really about in the NFL fashion. But first, let's get out of the way. Claire, Thanksgiving, how was it?
Well, it rocked. I mean, it was a day where I tend to be able to control myself. I really do.
There are lots of words that would describe you. Control would be near the bottom of the list.
Maybe I just don't find Thanksgiving foods to be all that delectable.
What?
Turkey is like a third-tier bird, in my opinion.
Oh, what would be on the first and second tier?
I would rather eat chicken than turkey. I would rather eat quail than turkey. So that's how turkey lands in number 3.
You could have chicken fried turkey, though.
Oh, no, I'd rather have duck than turkey. I'd rather have duck than all those bitches. Oh, shoot. Sorry. I forgot you had a swear jar. Duck wins.
Oh, money going in there. All right, now, duck, what part of the duck? Breasts? Are you a breast person?
Nah, I like the dark meat, yo.
You would. All right. So
I didn't say anything.
All right, so going back to turkey, why? How come you're such a hater? It's a once-a-year thing. It's tradition.
Most people, I don't do tradition. I'm not a very traditional sort of girl, if you haven't noticed.
Is that why you celebrate Christmas in March?
Ugh. I don't celebrate Christmas. I'm not really a Christian. But I do enjoy the time spent with family and friends. I just think that if you really... Oh, never mind. I won't even go into this.
No, it's okay. Have you seen the Black Friday shoppers? There's nothing Christian about that.
Okay. it's kind of like the RG3 statue at Baylor where they shun the whole idolatry thing in favor of, supposedly do, in favor of religious beliefs, and then they idolize somebody. Christmas is supposed to be about giving and, I don't know, being with family. And if you're Christian, celebrating the birth of Christ. Who really gives a crap how much money you save by throttling 3 old ladies on Black Friday? And every commercial is, ooh, buy this, ooh, buy that. I mean, okay, commercials are always like that. But the whole holiday has been bastardized to this whole shopping extravaganza. Whereas if I was a Christian, my family would be like, there'd be set rules and limitations.
The only gifts allowed are gold, Frankenstein, and myrrh.
Frankincense, I think, is the correct word, not Frankenstein.
Allegedly.
But yeah, I don't know. I just think.
All right, so that's already a Christmas rant off of turkey. But how did you spend your day otherwise? Did you at least enjoy the pie?
I did enjoy the pie.
Thank
and extra
God.
Whipped topping. Yeah, pie's good. That's where I did overindulge a little bit, but it's pie, and I only eat pumpkin pie once a year. I don't do the whole pumpkin spice everything. No, pumpkin pie exists for Thanksgiving.
You would be the only white person on earth who does not indulge in all pumpkin spice everything.
Okay, let me tell you, it makes everything you put it in gritty. It's gross texture. And the flavor isn't bad, but the texture is no. Why do people enjoy grit in their coffee drinks and such? It's disgusting. Am I a hater? Probably. But I have logic here. I have real reason.
You're not really a hater. You're for the pie thing, you're kind of a hypocrite because you came out saying, oh, I don't do tradition, but I only eat pumpkin pie once a year. About the 4th week in November, somewhere in there. I don't know. Usually comes along.
Yeah, that is kind of hypocritical.
Where's your 4th of July pumpkin pie, Claire?
Well, I try to watch what I eat.
Happy birthday, America, pumpkin pie.
Certain foods on certain occasions, and pumpkin pie is simply a Thanksgiving occasion, and that's the time I eat it. That's all.
All right, so Claire hates Thanksgiving, likes pumpkin pie, and definitely loves football. So we can talk about that. I mean, we had 3.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
3 pretty decent NFL games. The first one, the early show, the Lions beat the Bears 34-17, 2 touchdowns from Megatron. Apparently, he's okay again. I don't know.
He lost a step according to everybody pregame. So, he was old and he should probably start hanging it up at 29.
It's going to be, I feel like that's going to be part of his legacy when Calvin Johnson retires, is that he always has something, whether it's a knee, whether it's an ankle, whether it's a hamstring. He's always seemingly dinged up.
Well, yeah, but that's what happens to good players. And as long as they're able to play and perform when they do play, then it shouldn't be a knock against them. It should be something that actually adds to their accolades. That every week they're hurt, and then Calvin Johnson comes out and catches 11 passes for 146 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Jerry Rice never hurt. Jerry Rice never hurt.
Well, good for Jerry Rice. Maybe he had, I don't know, he was able to better not get hurt. But not everybody is going to be Jerry Rice. Let's just be honest. And it doesn't make a player not great because they're not Jerry Rice.
Detroit can be kind of dangerous. I mean, that defense is definitely improved with that front seven. And if that offense could get back in order, back the way that they used to win games and shootouts, they're 8-4 right now in a 3-way tie with Seattle and Dallas for the 2 wildcard spots. Green Bay is still to play this week. They're 8-3. They're hosting New England. That's not going to be a cakewalk. And Detroit does have a win over Green Bay at Ford Field in their back pocket. Still have to go to Lambeau. But Detroit, getting healthy at the right time might make things interesting.
Hey, and let's look, at their offense this game against Chicago. And Chicago's defense is really nothing great. I don't know exactly what they're doing there, but if you look at what Matthew Stafford did, he completed 34-45 for 390 yards. So that was really a pretty good outing. even though he had 2 touchdowns. I guess, you want to see more, but they ran the ball in a couple times. You really can't fault them on offense for what they did, and then their defense is showing up. And if they can continue playing like that, then Jim Caldwell has them in a great spot to make playoffs.
Yeah, I agree. The next game up, the meat to this sandwich, or as about this time, I was just finishing up probably the first or second helping, so a little nap and getting in the sun game. I see, Claire, I'm not like you. I have no self-control, especially around the holidays. No. I mean, the turkey and the mashed potatoes and the sweet potatoes and the green bean casserole, which is the only time casserole is applicable over hot dish. And then you got the stuffing, you got the pickled herring, you got the lefse, because I'm Norwegian.
What?
Yeah.
What the crap are we even talking about? Pickled herring and lefse.
We were talking about a traditional Norwegian Thanksgiving, so eat it.
But you're Asian.
Yeah, I was adopted, raised Norwegian.
Oh. I didn't know that. So there you have it.
Wait, so you really thought that Carlson was a very traditional Korean last name?
No, I thought perhaps like your mother was Korean and married a white male or something to that effect. I didn't know.
You thought my dad might have been a GI?
Well, could have been. I wasn't going to say that out loud, but, since you did.
All right, so the Eagles beat down the Dallas Cowboys 33-10, something that I'm sure made Claire cackle at her household. Mark Sanchez, Thanksgiving Day redemption, of course, 2 years ago was the butt fumble, but today, or yesterday rather, he was 20 of 29, 217, 1 touchdown, and included a rushing touchdown to get the scoring started. Eagles 9-3 and are in the driver's seat in the NFC East as they play Dallas in 2 more weeks at home at the Link, and Cowboys be in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, they find themselves in a pretty difficult situation. While the NFC hasn't been as strong as the AFC so far this season, they do have a pretty tight race there at the top. And, I don't know. I mean, is Tony Romo fighting back through this injury for nothing? Well, I guess we'll find out, but it's not feeling good for them. And finally, LaShawn McCoy seems back to form, and Mark Sanchez had his first scoring run in almost 3 years. And so there wasn't a butt fumble. He didn't humiliate himself publicly, I should say, because there are the occasional Sanchez foibles that we.
I don't know. He did almost lose a fumble in a kind of a comical way. It would have been called the hand fumble, I guess, because Crawford got his mid on it.
There you go. So I don't know. Tony Romo just didn't look so great.
No, their offense had got nothing going, and they couldn't force feed Dez Bryant. And I feel like potentially Dallas and Arizona peaked too soon. You know what I mean? Yep, absolutely.
Dez Bryant only had 73 yards, and so I think didn't the Eagles hold the Cowboys to under 100 yards rushing as a team. You wonder if they're kind of on the downslope of what seemed like a very promising first 2/3 of the season.
And what stuck out to me late in the game, because this 33 or about 30-10, like halfway through the third quarter. So Dallas kept getting the ball in junk time when teams can usually move it against a prevent defense, but Philadelphia was just shutting them down. Dallas could not get anything going.
Yeah, it wasn't. You just watch this team who had such a prolific offense and wonder. I don't know. You might just want to go back and look at exactly where the Eagles were able to stop them, because that's what other teams are going to be looking at the last few weeks of the season when they're playing Dallas, and they're going to use this game as the blueprint as to how do you stop the Cowboys' offense.
And outside the box thinking, Dallas and Philly both had a quick turnaround as they played on Sunday. Dallas played on Sunday night, and I think it might come back to the conditioning program that Chip Kelly and the Eagles put in place, because they just look like they had way more gas on a short week, and especially late in the season, teams are wearing down. The Eagles, they had all those injuries on the offensive line. Now they're starting to get healthy, and they have the wind, the conditioning to grind out these late season games. I think it's going to be a huge advantage.
It could be. I just it's
little
just
Mo
hard to
cardio.
predict. Yeah, that wouldn't hurt anything. That's for sure. I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's always fun. I don't get off on another team losing to provide my happiness just because I'm friends of the couple of logical Cowboys fans on earth. I feel like I'm friends with them. I don't like to see them sad. I don't want to see their Thanksgiving, have that undertone of, well, Cowboys lost. It was great and all except for the Cowboys lost. But on Thanksgiving, as a anti-Cowboys person, it does give me a little bit of joy, and that's sad. I'm embarrassed to say it. It kind of does.
Well, they enjoyed on Thanksgiving.
What?
Turkey.
Oh, probably. Chip Kelly looks like he's aged significantly since being in the NFL.
A little bit. It looks like he's put on a little weight, and I think if he grew a mustache, he would look exactly like Andy Reid.
He kind of would if it was darker. He would need to put some Just for Men in it.
But also in this game, Dwayne Harris, cheap shot heard around the world. On a punt return, Nolan Carroll was running on the field as a gunner, was about to catch the punt or at least down it inside the Cowboys 5, and Dwayne Harris just straight up cheap shot of all cheap shots, helmet to helmet, while Carroll wasn't looking, and it got a bit of a mixed reaction on the Twitter machine, as things usually do. Some were saying that it's dirty, completely dirty. He should be thrown out. He did get a 15-yard unsportsmanlike conduct on it. And others saying, you don't know football. I mean, that was a very clean play, as Carroll could have downed it with inside the 5. I lean more on the dirty side. Claire, what about you?
I understand it's hard to stop and whatever else, but why try and hurt somebody when you don't have to do it? I don't know. It seemed like there was the opportunity to not cause harm, but it seemed like his mind was kind of intent on, we want to harm this guy. I don't know. There's bad people everywhere.
There's definite logic to blocking Carroll so he can't get to the punt and down inside, the 5 or the 10. And we've seen that tons of times from punt returners, except that was malicious headhunting. He had bad intentions because they were getting their butts kicked on national television. The game was chippy all the way through, and Dwayne Harris just took it way too far.
Agreed. I don't really have anything to add to that. I just don't think it was necessary.
Claire, you're very kumbaya today. You're like, I just want my Dallas friends to be happy. Oh, there's bad people everywhere, but that doesn't mean blah, blah, blah. Turkey is bad and terrible.
That's kumbaya?
Can't we all just get along?
Can't I just be a kind human being during the holiday season?
I don't know. It's such a departure from our usual shtick.
Oh. Okay, well then screw all the Cowboys fans. I don't care if we're friends. I'm glad your team lost, and I hope your holidays are stinky and filled with poorly cooked entrees.
Well, you know why that there aren't a ton of illogical Cowboys fans on Twitter, right?
Why?
Because most Cowboys fans can't turn on a computer.
Oh. Well, there you go. Okay, I'll take that. That sounds like fun.
Booyah. Last NFL game on the slate was probably the worst, as the Seahawks came in to the Field of Jeans, stomped the Niners on the road 19-3. The Niners are essentially out of the playoffs. Kaepernick did not look great. Richard Sherman had 5 balls thrown his way, gave up 0 receptions, and got 2 picks, so we're never going to hear the end of that. And, of course, the Russell Wilson train is back on him being the greatest quarterback in the whole world, and blah, blah, blah. Now, is this win more about the Seahawks or more about the Niners?
I think it was more about the Niners. I mean, you look at them, and they had some tough games this season, and you think, well, this is a rivalry game. They're going to get up for this one. And boy, they just couldn't make anything happen. I mean, Colin Kaepernick had 121 yards passing. And I'm sorry, Russell Wilson wasn't like that amazing. He had 236 yards passing and a single TD. I mean, yeah, he didn't screw up, which is, I guess, what certain fans of certain teams will say.
You don't know football, Claire. You know football.
Oh, I tell you. He had a pretty high completion percentage, which he didn't throw that many passes. And then he had Marshawn Lynch, who ran for over 100 yards. And Russell Wilson ran for 35. So they kept the ball on the ground mostly, I guess, not quite 50% of the time, but they were able to do it on defense also, which, again, I mean, it's part of their game plan. But don't come at me with Russell Wilson as a prolific player. He does what he's supposed to do, but it doesn't make him like one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL.
Claire, if given the choice between Russell Wilson and Andrew Luck, I would take Wilson twice.
Oh, shut the front door.
That is the debate. It seems ridiculous, doesn't it?
It does. And I'll take Andrew Luck. I would, speaking of trades, I would trade the entire Texans defense to get Andrew Luck on this team. I mean, honestly, yeah, and I would not do that for Russell Wilson. I'm sorry. I wouldn't. He's good at what he's supposed to do, but what he's supposed to do is not be an Andrew Luck.
I see. Russell Wilson, in my mind, is a good quarterback, fantastic leader, has all the intangibles in the world, but Andrew Luck is simply on another level. He can carry an entire offense and make it functional and very prolific on his own accord. Or as Russell Wilson, as we've seen since they got rid of Percy, passing game, not so much.
Yeah. Agree. I mean, let's be honest. They had to adjust their game plan for personnel losses, which we saw coming. We knew they were coming last season. There were going to be some changes and some shakeups, and then Percy Harvin goes and has to try and beat the crap out of his teammates, which probably not such a good thing to have in your locker room. And,
in fairness, Golden State probably deserved it.
That could very well be.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about Golden State to call that, but I mean, if you look at how Russell Wilson's able to to distribute the ball, he's able to do so, very effectively. No one has a ton of catches on that team ever. It's always a bunch of different players, and you keep the defense guessing as to where you're going to go with the football, and that works for them. But don't come at me saying that Russell Wilson is a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. I'm sorry, it's just not the case.
Even though it is comparing, would you rather have pie or cake? I mean, both are phenomenal. Right. You'll take either one and be happy. But
right.
The thing is, Andrew Luck, or if they put Russell Wilson in Indianapolis' offense, and then ask him to throw it 40, 45 times a game and lead your offense, I'm not quite sure he could do it. Whereas Andrew Luck, you could put him in Seattle's offense, where it's very run-based, and then make the occasional throw. We've seen him do that at Stanford.
Exactly.
When they're a run-heavy team.
Exactly. So I don't think it's apples and apples in that comparison at all. Very different players.
And speaking of very different, fortunately, Claire. All right, so this one will get you out of your kumbaya mode. Your Aggies, I'm sorry, 23-17 to LSU at home, even though that LSU nose tackle was over the line.
I can't. Just go ahead and tell me your thoughts, because that was so upsetting. I want our defensive coordinator gone. I want Muschamp to come coordinate the defense for the Aggies, because he has old beef with Texas, and then he'll try and get all the recruits to A&M. And what's Snyder done? Snyder's done crap. Look at how horrible that defense is. I could go off for days on how awful the Aggie defense is. Oh, my gosh. The only reason LSU didn't have more points is because LSU didn't want to score more points. That's why. It's not because A&M's defense did anything to keep them to 23 points. It was awful. Train wreck. Hated it. Always hate A&M football these days, because every time they lose. Maybe not every time, but often.
I think someone definitely should have parlayed last year into an NFL job.
You think?
Yeah. Even though, hey, it started out with a crescendo. Kenny Trill, baby.
Kenny Trill, you mean Kyle Allen?
No.
Trill was on the bench.
I know he's on the bench. No, but beginning of the season, that win at
Oh.
South Carolina.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought you meant this game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it started off promising, but some people, like a Manziel, they're made for that kind of spotlight. And some people, they don't know what to do with themselves. And I think that's kind of what happened to Kenny Hill. He just didn't know what to do with himself.
Someone pointed out on Twitter the very interesting stat line, because Kyle Allen at one point in the game was 8 for 11 for 23 yards. That's really hard to do.
Yeah, it is.
That's like 3 yards per completion.
Hey, and guess what? A&M gave up a career high for Fournette to get 146 yards.
Booyah.
Touchdown.
By the way, that Bo Jackson type hit, Leonard Fournette just running over fools.
I don't even nothing.
And we move on. We're going to take our first little break. This is the Claire-Vs-Carlson Show. I finally got Claire where I want her. She started out all happy and stuff, and now she's down in the dumps. I will bring that back for the next 1.5 Claire-Vs-Carlson Show, BRB.
Millionaires are being made all season long at DraftKings.com, America's favorite one-week fantasy football site.
1 week fantasy means no season-long commitments. Play whenever you want.
Got a player who's hurt? No problem.
Injuries won't derail your shot at victory because it's like a new season every week, so you're never stuck with the same players.
Pick your team in minutes, and you could be on your way to winning huge cash.
This season, one listener turned $10 into $5,000. Another turned $2 into $10,000.
And a new millionaire has been crowned nearly every week this season at DraftKings.com.
You could be next. Imagine winning $1 million in one day just playing fantasy football at DraftKings.
Head over to DraftKings.com now and use promo code SPREAKER to play free in the $10 million Fantasy Football World Championships. DraftKings.com, bigger events, bigger winnings, bigger millionaires. Enter SPREAKER now at DraftKings.com. DraftKings.com, that is DraftKings.com.
And we're back for the second quarter of the Claire-Vs-Carlson Show. One of my favorite things with this show is confusing you right before we come back from break.
It's rude.
Oh, please. What are you drinking over there? Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention that you were ragingly hungover this morning, right?
I only had 3 glasses of wine yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like ladylike sized wine glasses. They weren't some crazy amount.
And by wine, I mean bourbon. And by ladylike size, I mean handle.
No, sir. No, sir. Wine glass size servings of Chardonnay. Which is what you should drink with turkey. Just an FYI.
Oh, is it?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now you're trashing turkey, even though turkey is phenomenal. And now you're talking about, well, if you're going to eat the terrible bird, and I'm not saying you should have a little white wine.
Part of my aversion is that my father, who, God rest his soul, passed away in 2006. He used to make the best turkeys on earth. Mm-hmm. And now my mom cooks the turkeys. And I love her. I do. She's a fantastic human being. But she doesn't know the tricks of making turkey really good. Like the skin, it wasn't crispy and juicy and delicious. It was kind of tough and parts were undercooked, and it was sad. It was really sad. And maybe she should just buy it from one of those places that makes turkeys already.
Right. You could take the reins, keep the tradition going, Claire.
You want me to cook? I mean, I can cook. It's just not my job.
What's your go-to? Like when you do cook, what's the one thing that you do best?
Salmon. I cook a mean salmon fillet.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. I cook the best salmon.
What's your trick?
You really want to know?
Yes, indeed. Culinary Claire-Vs-Carlson Show.
Okay.
Yeah.
I start with the salmon when it's frozen.
Mm-hmm.
And then I put it on a really hot skillet for like 3 to 4 minutes on each side.
Mm-hmm.
And then you add all the seasonings and stuff, and you put a cover on it, and you cook it on like medium heat for about 7 to 10 minutes, depending on how thick your salmon is.
Mm-hmm.
And then you add whatever's going to make it saucy,
Oh.
like white wine or more butter or something with the seasonings. And then you let that cook for 3 to 4 minutes. And then it's crispy and delicious, and it's cooked all the way through, except for maybe a little bit of pinker pink in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And it's perfect. It's perfect.
Oh, that does sound good.
It is really good. I'm pretty awesome at salmon.
It's Claire's Culinary Corner on the Claire-Vs-Carlson Show.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of C's in there. What are you drinking now?
The same. I'm drinking a mimosa.
Oh.
Like,
why don't you share your mimosa recipe that I saw earlier?
Oh. So you get like one of the big, I don't know how many ounces this is. It's like a regular drinking glass, And you fill it up until the fizz almost overflows with champagne. And it's cheap champagne. You don't want to do this with nice champagne. Nice champagne is, for drinking solo. And then you pour, once the fizz dies down, you pour a little bit more. Really, I like to have it about 3/4 full with champagne, and then just add a splash of orange juice.
Splash.
Just a splash. That's really all you need is a splash. And then you drink as fast as you can so you can refill your glass with more champagne.
I see it.
Or really like cheap sparkling wine, not champagne. You don't want to use champagne in a mimosa.
No, it's like booze 7-Up when you get the really cheap champagne.
Yeah, because really the cheaper champagne is going to have a harsher flavor when you get the dry version. Mm-hmm. And it's going to blend really well with the orange juice because the orange juice is a little bit sweet, a splash. A little bit sweet, a little bit of tart, tones down that really harsh dryness of the cheap champagne, and it works magically together.
All right. Speaking of not toned down, smooth as a baby's bottom segue. Happy Thanksgiving from the Washington professional football team. And they put out a little tweet and a little infographic, as a lot of teams, a lot of schools do, Happy Thanksgiving, a little, nice little picture. But this one is, it's a little awkward considering that, the Washington, I'll only use it right now, the Redskins are a Native American slur in a lot of people's minds, and they're chiming in on a holiday that was marked by cooperation between Native Americans and the settlers. And it's a little awkward, isn't it?
Well, let's just be honest. Daniel Snyder has positioned himself through proper planning, it seems, as the white man's team that uses the Native American logo or picture or whatever personification as its claim to being tough. Mm-hmm. And they demean it. It is what it is. You call somebody a Redskin, we've had this conversation. That's just rude. Okay? You're looking at someone's skin tone and giving them a name based upon a skin tone, which is anti everything that is taught in today's America.
Well, is it as racist as calling a baseball player Whitey Ford?
Well, I don't know. I mean, was that like a nickname from childhood? And that was a really long time ago.
Yeah. Sorry, I derailed a little bit. I do feel like Daniel Snyder, it seems like he doesn't get it. And all these gaffes of just like PR mess, it's just unintentional. But, conspiracy theory, what if all this is intentional? What if he just wants to stay in the headlines as that villain, sorta Jerry Jones-ish, but a little bit more extreme? Because you gotta admit, this is a ton of press for a 3-8 football team that is not very good. whose quarterback is probably going to be gone, and head coach might be gone too, one and done.
You think the head coach has a risk of going one and done?
I think so.
Gruden?
Yeah, because Daniel Snyder definitely has an itchy trigger finger when it comes to axing coaches.
Dude, one season, I can't imagine that they would sit down in his office and he would sell him on. No, okay, wait.
Oh, Spurrier got 2. Jim Zorn got 2.
2.
He's quick.
2. At least 2. The other thing is that I can see where your point might make some sense is if Jay Gruden is trying to convince Daniel Snyder that RG3 ain't all that for the NFL period, and Daniel Snyder feels so fatherly and so lovingly toward RG3 that he starts to hate Jay Gruden because Jay Gruden doesn't like RG3. I can see that.
Yeah, since Jay Gruden, made his bones with Andy Dalton, even though he was relatively ineffective with it. I don't even know how he got this job. If his name was Jay Bartowski or Zamolowitz, he wouldn't even be sniffing this job. But
where the hell did you get those names from?
I think Bartowski is another coordinator who's floated around the league. He might even with the Bengals. But I was just trying to think of a random name. But
okay,
maybe they should trade RG3 straight up for Andy Dalton. Bazow. And we'll get into all these other outlandish trade ideas because the NFL really needs to be more about fantasy football because the one area where the NFL is deficient is in the trade department. The trade deadline is boring. In the offseason, there aren't too many big splash trades that you see anymore. I'm trying to think of the last huge one. Might have been Clinton Portis for Champ Bailey, Washington and Denver, way back in the day. That's about it.
Yeah, good point.
Too often you don't
Trades
see big
don't
name for
usually
big
happen.
names. Yeah,
that's very true.
It's usually picks and picks and picks, but ain't nobody got time for that. But so that's putting a bow on the happy Thanksgiving from the Washington professional football team. Eerily, even though as awkward as that was, we did not hear a peep from the Plymouth Pilgrims, the semi-professional football team.
That
not even a peep. How dare they?
Well, the day was full of letdowns. Let's just be honest.
Something that was not a letdown was the Westminster Kennel Show, and Fox during later on in the evening had something called Cause for Pause, which is a very contrived, but very heartfelt dog award show, and also talking about rescue dogs. Oh, come on. It made me feel so good. And you're a dog owner. It should tug on your heartstrings a little bit.
Well, when your mom decides to watch that instead of football, it kind of just ruins everything.
Well, to be honest, all the games weren't that great. I mean, TCU, Texas, and LSU, Texas A&M, and San Francisco, Seattle.
A&M game, what could have been great. It started off not horrible. The first half wasn't bad. But no, we're watching dog talk on Thanksgiving instead of A&M.
But didn't it make you feel so good? Like when they gave away the award for best military homecoming for a dog, and the dog just seemed so happy.
Put it on Fox and Friends or some crap. This is not like Thanksgiving Day, late night. No.
Well, no, that was the spot to do it because they went in the complete opposite demographic of, everyone's going to be watching football.
Well,
so it's actually very smart.
The thing is, I wouldn't mind watching it if it wasn't competing with football. Mm-hmm. But I'm not going to DVR some whatever. No, that's dumb.
No, but it reminded me of how much I love and appreciate our dogs, which are both shelter dogs, and also remind me why I hate Michael Vick.
Yeah, me too. I will never get over that. I don't care. Come at me, people. Tell me how I'm stupid for holding a grudge against Michael Vick. You don't do that to dogs. Rape stands and crap. What the heck is that? Dogs will do it willingly.
I actually hate him more because he's a terrible quarterback.
Oh.
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not forgivable. Going through a couple of random football stories that happened since we last talked, I feel like it's been forever. The Odell Beckham Jr., greatest catch ever, really? Mm-hmm. Or was it just really, really good?
It was really, really good. I don't know about the greatest catch ever. I don't keep up with these things. I'm not the girl to ask. It was a really impressive catch.
Hello?
So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and I think it is just more of this hyperbole spur of the moment thing where people, oh, it's the greatest catch ever. And then SportsCenter does a whole top 10 of the greatest catches of all time. But I'm like, please. I was spoiled because my entire childhood I got to watch Chris Carter make that catch like 3 times a game. Child, please.
3 times a game, really?
3 times.
That's not hyperbole or anything.
All he does is catch touchdown.
Oh. Okay.
That's all we need him to do, too. And we talked about the Seahawks a little bit and how Richard Sherman is going to be insufferable after getting 2 picks against their biggest rival. But during the week, during a press conference, which was, people are calling this genius, but I got another word for it, and we'll get to that at the end. Talking to a cardboard cutout of Doug Baldwin. Doug Baldwin was behind the cardboard cutout as sort of a puppeteer, what you want to call it. And Richard Sherman and cutout Doug Baldwin had a little back and forth, a satirical take on the NFL making money off of advertisers, but players could not. NFL making money off of alcohol advertisers, but the players could not. And Thursday games taking its toll on player safety and blah, blah, blah. I think it was a solid message that had a lot of very good salient points, but the way it was presented was shticky and very stupid.
Yeah, it was like a 7th grade school project come to life. That's what it was like to me.
It's like the worst of the worst in SNL sketches.
I don't mean to. It's just when Seahawks fans go overboard about how hilarious they are and how smart these players are. And, oh, my gosh, I can't believe everybody doesn't just love them all. That's when I get frustrated with the fan base. It's just like they're so rah-rah about everything.
See, we're here talking about how he delivered the message, not even his points that he made. Like I said, were very good points. But if he went on, like a CNN, like an Anderson Cooper, and made these points in a very coherent manner and a very matter-of-factly, that would be perfect. The message would get across. Instead, we're not talking about how hokey the delivery was.
Exactly. So, it's whatever. The Seahawks are whatever they are. And I felt like they would be a good team coming into this season. They've kind of not been as great as I thought they would be. I don't have a hatred. When you see a team that's in the spotlight and they keep doing things that get on your nerves, it makes you start to hate them. And I'm starting to hate them. I really am. And I'm sorry for that to my friends who are Seahawks fans. I'm starting to hate your team. Sorry.
But, they have the greatest quarterback in the history of the National Football League.
Yeah. Apparently they do.
It's a
big letdown.
I don't know. Another big letdown, backtracking a little bit, was when Detroit went into New England, got their doors blown off, and then at the end of the game, known dirtbag, I'll just call him that, Dominic Raiola, admitted after the game for going after rookie Zach Moore's knees because he was so angry that New England didn't run out the clock and LeGarrette Blount instead scored a second touchdown. Also, there's video evidence that Raiola took swings at Zach Moore's head, punched him in the helmet a couple of times. And, this is just another since Raiola is near the end of his career, because, the guy's got to be mid-30s at least. But this just puts a nice little bow, a little period on a career that has been – he's a good player, but he's a scumbag. Straight up.
He really is. Any NFL player who is legit angry about a team running up a score on you, well, then your defense
do something
needs
about
to
it.
Stop them. Exactly. That's your job. It's your team's job. Okay, he's a center. He can't control what their defense does. But come on, man. Come on. Grow up. And he's practically my age, so he can just retire. Whenever you have Lions fans saying, get this guy out of here.
Well, no, Claire, if he's your age, if he's 25, he's got quite a number of years left in his career.
I know.
He's younger than Stafford then.
You're so sweet to me with the age thing, but I don't mind. Really. He's going to be 36 soon. And, when your fans start to hate you, it might be time just to hang it up when you're 36 years old.
Yeah, I'm surprised that there are still any Lions Dominic Raiola fans, as a couple of years back, after a loss, he came off the field and was telling Detroit fans to F off, give them a finger on his way to the locker room. And that it's just a myriad of things that just makes him seriously unlikable. And in a spot where he's supposed to be the leader of that offensive line.
Well, and it's funny because in that season, whenever the fans were apparently heckling Matt Stafford in the 2009 game where Raiola had words to the fans who were heckling Matt Stafford. And then following that season, Raiola was recipient of the Detroit Lions Good Guy Award. So I found that really interesting because God love them. Detroit fans are just, they've been beat down. And to have this guy who can't control his emotion, he's kind of like, as far as we know, a non-bullying Richie Incognito. It's just, he can't do anything right. He can't say anything right. He can't act right. Offensive linemen seem to have these very divisive personalities. Either they're big teddy bears or they're the people you love to hate. And Raiola is someone you'd love to hate.
Incidentally, I compare his behavior to a toned-down Dominic and Sue, which is kind of ironic because they bang against each other in practice probably all day, every day.
Mm-hmm. That's very true. That's a good point. I guess, I don't know. I'm ready for him to stop because that could have just been bad with the cheap shots and everything.
And also bad is the story of Eric Berry. He was put on the non-football injury list for the Chiefs because they discovered a mass in his chest. It could be lymphoma. He went and saw a specialist this week. And the craziest part about it is that he was playing with this last week, last Thursday when the Chiefs lost in Oakland 24-20. Just how nuts is this?
It's awful. I mean, you don't want to hear about anyone getting lymphoma, but whenever you follow anything closely and someone that you respect in that field could be affected by this condition, it's just awful. I don't know. I mean, just last year he befriended a leukemia patient, Bryce Eidson, and it's just ironic to me that he could be suffering from this ailment. It's not an ailment; it's a disease, and it's awful.
And we're obviously wishing the best for Eric Berry. Hopefully, he can get his health back in order and get back on the field because he's a hell of a player.
Oh my gosh, yes, he is. He's been so impressive.
Also, one of the funniest NFL film segments I've ever seen. Did you see the one about him and the horse?
No.
All right, so apparently Eric Berry has this fear of horses, like a pathological fear of horses. And it all started when, now I'm paraphrasing here, but I think it was at a birthday party when he was a kid, and they had a pony, for pony rides. And he was reaching out to feed the pony, and the pony bit him. And he dropped one of the best lines ever on NFL films. It's like, damn, pony, I trusted you.
That was great. I'm sorry I missed that. That's really cool. Damn, pony, I trusted you.
No, it's even funnier because the Chiefs on their home games have a lady riding a horse around the stadium to start the game, or it might even be during the game. So they had film of him making on the sidelines during a game, making sure that he always had eyes on where the horse was because he was afraid of it.
Damn, poor guy. That's always funny when these larger-than-life players who seem like capable of taking on anything are fearful of something hilarious like a pony. A pony!
My Little Pony. Did you have any of My Little Ponies when you were a kid? Is that in your wheelhouse?
I'd get them as gifts, but they weren't really my thing.
Well, what was your thing as a kid? You seem like a very serious kid. Like you should have gotten like CPA books or.
I got a encyclopedia set when I was 6 years old because I used to steal them from the library, the encyclopedias. Because you can't check them out. And there would be things like you'd start reading about one thing, but then you'd see, oh, the next thing's really interesting. So I liked encyclopedias.
Were you a smart, nerdy kid type?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But then sixth grade happened and, you get boobs and stuff, and then the boys don't like the smart girls. So then you get all, I don't know what that means. Oh, my God.
Why couldn't you be the smart girl with boobs?
Because then you're not popular. Hello. there are more important things to 12-year-old girls than being smart.
Now, speaking of library and just books, I remember what really got me hooked on the NFL is that my school library had the complete set of, because like Sports Illustrated did a book about every NFL team.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of pictures book, but there was a ton of stories in it. And, of course, the one that always got checked out the most was the Minnesota Vikings one. So when you saw that available in the list, you grabbed it like it was hot.
But then you drop it like it's hot. I'm sorry, that wasn't appropriate.
But the most kismet part, my favorite one that I read, which was not the Vikings one, was the Houston Oilers.
Was it? It's a good story. It really
Bum
is.
Phillips is a cool dude.
He was him and that whole team. When you watch it, on NFL films and that sort of stuff, they just seem like they're hanging out playing dominoes, drinking, Shiner beer, which at the time was a microbrewery.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just being normal Southern sort of guys, and they all just fit in with each other, and they're just fun. Yeah, I love Bum Phillips. He created a really good environment for a few years.
Except for playoff games in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, but Pittsburgh was pretty good. Let's not kid ourselves. It wasn't like they were some fly-by-night sort of team.
Wow. And wrapping up a segment, a little not as fun topic as the Love You Blue Houston Oilers, but broke athletes. And I want to talk about this because article in USA Today about Daryl Talley, who former Buffalo Bill great linebacker as part of those Super Bowl years. I think he was West Virginia.
Gosh, yeah.
Double check on that. But suffering from depression, suicide, financial problems, has been broke as the company he opened closed 2008, the financial crisis, and it's just another one of those stories that you hear all the time. And the Kickstarter started from the Bills fans has raised $27,000 for his cause so far. And I just want to take it out of this specific situation because, this sounds like there's a lot to do with possibly concussions, possibly CTE in Daryl's case. But I just want to talk overall broke athletes, guys who sign these tens or even hundreds of $1 million contracts and find out that they're broke 5-10 years after playing the game.
Yeah.
Just overall question straight up. Do you feel bad for them?
I do, because I don't feel like anyone prepared them. You can't expect someone's going to just know innately how to deal with these millions of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
And there's people who are logical and like, I'm going to hire a good financial analyst and I'm going to put some away and put some in a kid's fund and yada, yada, yada. But there are those people who it never occurred. No one said that NFL players had to have a really high IQ. They take their Wonderlic test or whatever, but tons of them make it in even if they do horribly.
Yeah, because if it's all about high IQ, Ryan Fitzmagic would be the best quarterback in the NFL.
There you have it right there. So, and when you're 24 years old and you sign a multi-million-dollar contract, you feel like it's never going to end. You're never going to see the end of that money because it's just a huge pot of money that you could never fathom.
You're living it up at Duck Club.
They don't know. And if you had somebody who said, this amount needs to go for your future medical care, this amount needs to go for your children's college fund, that would be great. Mm-hmm. I think that the NFL could do a better job, probably. I don't know what they tell them now, but saying, hey, you guys each pay, 1% of your income into a fund for financial analysts. And you each get financial advice, and this person is going to tell you how to allocate your money so that you'll be taken care of in the long run. Because I don't think, maybe now they do a better job, but I know 15, 20, 30, 40 years ago, these guys didn't know. No one told them.
And they weren't making near the amount of money they do nowadays.
Right. That's true, too. But I'm sure if you come from a very small town in wherever, USA, and your family made $10,000 a year and you're making, millions, that's got to feel like it's never ending. And you have to be shown, okay, if you keep on this track, this is how it ends. If we take care of it and act responsibly, this can last you a lifetime.
And to your point about the culture shock, so imagine like you're a kid from a small town in the South, say Alabama. Then you go to University of Alabama, another relatively small town in Tuscaloosa. All of a sudden, you're a first-round pick drafted by the Jets or the Giants or San Francisco, where you're thrust into a big city, millions upon millions of dollars, and it's going to be huge. I mean, it's a nice problem to have, but it's still a problem.
It is. And can you imagine you have 30 relatives who you see every holiday for your whole life, and they're a part of your life, and all of them come out of the woodwork and they want something from you.
Oh, I got this great business idea for you, son.
Exactly.
And because do you remember the 30 for 30 broke?
Mm-hmm.
It's exactly like that. Now, those are people that I do feel bad for, where it's all of these leeches that come out and have their hands out and expect for you to pay their phone bill, to buy them cars, buy them houses, and everything like that. But the guys who know what's going on and yet still buy like $50,000 necklaces or make it rain at that club for hundreds of thousands of dollars, I don't feel too bad about them.
Right. And you kind of have to know the whole story, I think, to be able to say I feel bad for them or I don't. Mm-hmm. And so that's really not my business. I just think that if they did a better job educating people, I think that a lot of these guys would probably take some advice and act more responsibly with the money that they're paid. A lot of them would ignore it regardless and say, screw you, I'll donate 1% of my annual salary to this financial advisor fund, and I'm going to ignore everything they say. And that's fine. They can do that, and then, whatever happens to them happens to them. Yeah. But the rest of them, I think, need that opportunity because not everyone is from somewhere that teaches you how to deal with money at that scale. I
kind of wish a lot more athletes were like LeBron, hanging out with Warren Buffett, getting advice and working with him, because LeBron, when it's all said and done, is going to be worth billions with a B.
Yep.
The big one. Yep. And also worth billions with a B is our little break, and we will be right back with the Claire-Vs-Carlson Show because we're making it rain in this mofo, but responsibly. And within our budget. BRB. The Purple for the Win podcast is your one-stop shop for the team you hate that you love. That's right, dedicated to the pain and pleasure that is the Minnesota Vikings. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube for our weekly and bi-weekly mediocrity. And, of course, there's always purpleftw.com. Because, aside from nipple clamps and chains and whips, cheering for the Purple People Eaters is probably the most pleasurable pain you can experience on this planet. So come on in for the mediocre analysis and the more mediocre humor. PurpleFTW.com. That's right, PurpleFTW.com.
Straight cash, homie.
And we are back after halftime. We both have a little bit of libations going on, even though Claire has been partaking since the beginning. I have a crisp, seasonal Sam Adams White Christmas, which is very good, even though White Christmas sounds a little bit racist, a little bit honky-ish. Probably sell really great down in the South with you, Claire. But you finish off the rest of the Brute.
Well, you said since the beginning of the season, since the beginning of the show, and really for a few hours before the show, so I might go a little Sean Connery. I just don't know when that's going to happen.
Now,
it could start any moment.
You have nieces. Are you the Lush-Aunt that everybody has? I
have one niece, and that's it. So I'm her Lush-Aunt, yes.
You are Lush-Aunt McCoy?
Lush-Aunt Claire?
Lush-Aunt McCoy. Oh, come on. That was pretty good.
I didn't get it. Lush-Aunt. Oh, yeah, no.
You can't see me right now. I'm doing the Johnny Manziel money hands signs. We'll get to Manziel in a little bit as he's going to come out with our pie in the sky trade ideas. But first, I want to talk about our fantasy teams, Claire. How are your 7 teams doing?
Well, I'm going to be in the playoffs in at least 3 of my 5 leagues.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Oh, good for you.
All right, there you go. You deserve that one. Anyways, proceed.
So, okay, I'm going to be in the playoffs in 3/5 of my leagues.
Yep.
And my performance, however, this past Sunday was just deplorable. I went 1-4. I did awfully. So I totally hit the waiver wire this week and just mixed it up. And we're just going to see, we're going to throw it all against the and see what happens. Because I want that number 1 or 2 seeding bad.
Mm-hmm. Now,
bad.
Do you get a bye in that league?
No.
Or you just get top seed?
Oh, wait, yeah. In a couple of them, I think you get a bye.
Mm-hmm.
But, I'll take a bye. A bye would be good.
All right.
But I really just wanted to play like the weaker teams. That's really all that matters to me.
All right. And in my one league to rule them all, I have a very interesting situation. So 12 teams, 2 divisions. All the good teams are in one division, right? And then basically everyone in my division is 5-7. And I can technically win the division and get in the playoffs and get a bye because the first tiebreaker is division record. And I would have the best division record since all my wins are in division. But also, if I lose, I get the number 1 pick. So I'm either going to be the 2nd seed in the playoffs or have the number 1 pick. It's very interesting how this might work out.
It's very tenuous.
Yeah. And, yesterday I had a couple of guys going. Jordan Matthews, got in the end zone, but that was about it. And also, I traded a bunch of picks for Matt Forte, and then he blah.
Oh my God, he had 5 points last night.
Yeah.
It was awful. I had him in a couple of leagues because you expected more with this prolific offense of the Bears. I air quoted. You can't see me. But I do like air quotes. I don't care.
It's your bay.
Yeah. So anyway, it's whatever.
Yeah. And I'm basically into winning in, and some other things have to go right. But my opponent's got Aaron Rodgers and Eddie Lacy and Gronk, so it's like gonna be like whatever at this point. Whatevs.
Just throw it all to the wind. Just throw all the caution to the wind and just see how it lands. Because who knows? I mean, really, you can start off with the best team ever in the history, and then half of them get hurt, and you're screwed. So it doesn't even matter.
Oh, kind of a funny thing I just realized. So I dropped Cordero last week, and then
Me too.
I dropped Kaepernick this week because
I didn't have him.
I don't like any of his schedule coming up. And so I officially have 0 players that I drafted still on my roster.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and it's a 3 keeper league too, so that's even more intriguing.
Wow, that's really interesting. How does that even happen?
A lot of churning, a lot of wheeling and dealing. I probably suck at drafting. It's part of it.
Well, maybe. I'm a good drafter, but you can't really predict injuries for a lot of these players. So,
And speaking of predicting injuries, RG3, who has had many of them in his day because he runs like a little baby deer, benched for Colt McCoy this Sunday as Washington takes on the Indianapolis Colts at Indy. Seems to be an interesting spot. Do you think he's going to be back in 2015 in Washington?
RG3?
Yes.
Nah. They don't get along. Jay Gruden and staff has already basically banned his family from all the perks they enjoyed as being the people who gave birth to their future. And so it kind of makes you think he's probably not really in the plans for the future.
Seems kind of quick, though, that he's still on his rookie deal. They can pick up his 5th-year option this offseason. They probably won't, but he's still on their contract for next year. Maybe they move him to try and get some value, I guess.
Right. And I could see them moving him because there are teams who, I mean, let's be honest. Half of the teams, at least in the NFL, have a quarterback that's below average, right?
RG3 to the Texans. Bring it on home to Texas, baby. Because what part of Texas is he originally from? I know he went to Baylor, but where did he go to high school?
That's a good question. I forget because I knew this at one point in time. I forget. I think he's local to Houston. Am I wrong? He might be local to Houston.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, Griffin, not Griffith. That doesn't mean anything. You don't know what I'm talking about.
Isn't Ryan Griffin like a 4-string tight end on the Texans too?
No.
Ryan Griffin?
There is Garrett Graham. Oh, wait, Ryan Griffin. Yeah, sorry, he is. You're right. I'm sorry. I was getting confused.
Like he played at UConn?
One of my questions to you had to do with a player whose name was somewhat similar. So quit digging for answers, smarty pants.
Okay. But RG3 been disappointed as a whole in Washington. He did make the playoffs as a rookie in 2012, but overall, 13-20 as a starter in the regular season, and only 4-14 since that playoff run in 2012.
Hey, and let me tell you this: he attended Copperas Cove High School, which is up near Dallas. So,
Oh, RG3 to the Cowboys. How much would he love to stay in division and stick it to Washington twice a year?
Yeah, but Tony Romo.
Tony might retire. Maybe Jerry goes to Tony and is like, Tony, you're back in right. How about you retire and give a little piece of the stadium? Or some of those under-the-table deals that that get made all the time.
Yeah, you want to be like the Cowboy alumnus head ambassador to the fan sort of job. That, could be. Because maybe they're saying, hey, man, if you can just get us through this season, get us into the playoffs, and take us somewhere, we'll ceremoniously dub you the most important Cowboy of the last decade, which he kind of is, I guess.
And now, do you think that if he doesn't work out in Washington and doesn't pan out anywhere else in his NFL career, do you think he's going to be considered a bigger bust than Ryan Leaf? They're both number 2 picks, but considering how much Washington gave up to get him, 3 number 1s and a number 2.
And let's really look at this. I mean, because Washington has dug themselves a hole, and that's not answering your question. I'm sorry. I don't think he will because he doesn't seem to be as self-destructive as Ryan Leaf is. Because Ryan Leaf with the drug problems and everything else, whatever. But look at what Washington gave up to get him. Not only look at the fact that they took Kirk Cousins in that same draft to presumptively be his backup. Look what they did to Kirk Cousins also during this whole entire situation. And the fact that they now have 2 quarterbacks on their roster who potentially could be starting for teams who are now on their bench in favor of Colt McCoy. And the fact that they don't have draft picks. Look at what they've given up. They have dug themselves a hole of huge proportions.
Yeah, they're pretty much up against it. And what St. Louis has done with those 3 number 1s and number 2, through various trades, they've ended up with 8 players got listed here. Michael Brockers, pretty solid defensive tackle. Janoris Jenkins, contributor at cornerback. Isaiah Peed, I don't even think he's on the team anymore. Or maybe he's on IR, but hasn't done much as a second-round running back. Something called Rocavius Watkins, who's no longer in the league. Alec Ogletree, one of their starting linebackers. Stedman Bailey, he's starting to come on as a wide receiver. Zach Stacy, who's had his moments, not so much anymore. And then the number 2 overall pick this year, the last of the haul, Greg Robinson, the all-world offensive tackle from Auburn, who hasn't really found his place yet, but give it time. But still, that's not a bad haul for a guy who turns out might not be panning out as an NFL quarterback.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's a mess, and I don't know what's going to happen with any of this.
And speaking of mess and not knowing what's going to happen, some trades and some signings that we want to see.
Yeah!
All right, so I went definite hot fire on this. So, Claire, if yours are pretty vanilla, I can make up for it.
Make up for me, because mine are. I didn't realize that this was in general NFL. I thought you just meant like to benefit the team that we personally love. So
no, that's fine.
About me.
Hey, it can be all Texans trades too, because my first one is Vikings related. Adrian Peterson is traded to the Cowboys for 5 number 1s and 3 number 2s.
Oh.
And by that I mean I would
whom?
by that I mean I would be fine getting a 2nd round pick for Adrian.
To whom?
To Dallas. Hello.
Hello.
You know what's happening. You know what's up. Jerry Jones can't help himself. Oh, yeah. They're going to run DeMarco into the ground, let him walk as a free agent, and bring in Texas's favorite son, Adrian Peterson, even though he went to Oklahoma.
Yeah, he kind of shunned the whole state at that moment.
What's he going to do? Go to Houston? Go to Rice?
Well, at least it's in state. At least you can understand.
Texas State, North Texas, UTEP.
How do you know all these Texas universities? Texas State is like nothing.
UTEP is where running back Joe Banyard is from, who actually might be starting on Sunday because McKinnon's back is hurt. And also UTEP used to be Texas Western, which is famous for Glory Road. Don Haskins winning the first national title with the All-Black starting 5. No big deal.
Oh. Well, that's just really a lot to remember.
Also, North Texas is just cool because they're the mean green. Come on.
Yeah, and they're in Denton. Denton is a great place for music, which was my main deal when I was in college. So, I don't know.
Really, the nerdy kid growing up got into music as an adult, Claire? Really?
I did. I wanted all the music that people didn't know about.
Damn it. We all right, so next week we need to come up with more of those fake band names because I think we're starting to get on a roll there.
Oh, but you were really good at that. See, and I am good at making fun of things and being sarcastic
and cackling.
I'm good at those things. But I'm not good with creativity, with things that require outside the box thinking.
Speaking of creativity, my next trade, RG3 to the Jets for a 2nd round pick. RG3 just seems like the most Jet quarterback ever. It seems like
a fit. He seems like a Jet fit. I could see him fitting in there in New York.
I see. The thing that's going to save his life, though, is that Rex isn't going to be the head coach. Hopefully they'll get an offensive mind there. Otherwise, Rex will just ruin him.
Well, Rex isn't going to be the coach, right?
No, Rex is gone.
We've already figured this out.
Gone.
So, I don't know. I could see him being there with whomever the future is. Woody Johnson seems to know what's up there. Whatever.
All right, so my next one is also Jets related because I feel like the Jets are going to be the ones that open to wheel and deal. They already traded for Percy and they showed that they're not afraid. Isaac might need to make some moves to save his job, otherwise we won't have a job to trade picks for anyways. Next one, if they can't get RG3. Johnny Manziel to the Jets, straight up, for Mo Wilkinson.
Uh-oh. Now, explain how you arrived at this.
All right, so Mo Wilkerson is a 2011 draft pick. I believe he's a 2nd-round pick, so he's on his last year of his rookie contract, no 5th-year option. Actually, I might have that completely backwards. Anyways, they're going to look to move him, maybe put him a franchise tag and then trade him like the Patriots did with Matt Castle back in the day. Mike Pettin used to be a defensive coordinator of the Jets, so they have some history going back. And he basically runs the same defense with Cleveland as they do in New York. Be easy peasy fit. Cleveland, I think they're kind of over Manziel, and Pettin, reading between the lines, is definitely over him. And so why not send him to Broadway, Johnny? It doesn't even matter who the head coach is. Just let him play schoolyard ball with Percy, with Decker. It would be good times.
It could be, actually. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's going to need an offensive line that can give him time. Let's be real, because Johnny Manziel needs to improvise. I mean, the way he is able to improvise, he needs all the time in the world. But, yeah. It wouldn't be crazy. I've heard a lot of thoughts on him going to a variety of teams because of maybe a lot of those thoughts I think have come via you, though. Yeah, let's be honest.
I think I said he's going to Tampa last week, so I changed my mind.
I think you did. I know. I was about to throw that one out there. I was like, oh, wait a second. No, that came from Andy, so it makes no sense to.
Yeah. Next one is not a trade, but rather just a free agent signing. Whatevs. Randall Cobb, who is in a contract year, signs with the Seattle Seahawks.
Interesting.
They need wide receiver. Even though Cobb is not the traditional outside the number stretch the field guy, he's a definite weapon that they haven't had since they lost Golden Tate and they got rid of Percy.
That could be. That one's hard for me to fathom, but okay.
That would definitely shake up the power structure of the NFC. As right now, for my money, Cobb and Jordy Nelson are the best wide receiver tandem in the NFL.
They are, indeed.
Even though the Vikings held both of them to a combined less than 100 yards last week, I don't even know.
Thanks for screwing with my fantasy football team, by the way. I appreciate that more than
It's that Zimmer hellfire defense. I keep telling you. I mean, you can't control it, except for when we're on the road. All right, 2 trades left. This one is a little bit hot as they are planning to part ways, but maybe Ryan Grigson steps in and be like, oh, no. I'm not afraid to make a move, and Trent Richardson is not working out. Marshawn Lynch gets traded to the Indianapolis Colts.
Holy crap. I would hate that.
2 beast modes back there, Lynch and Andrew Luck.
I would hate it.
Have an actual run game.
I'd cry. I would cry real tears.
Just give them the AFC South for the next 10 years. Just sign off on it.
Check. I hate them. Why do they get everything? Why do they?
Well, you have to give them credit. They did survive Trent Richardson.
Hello? Because they have Andrew freaking Luck. It's not fair. They happen to lose Peyton. Then they have one crappy year in which they tank for Luck, or suck for Luck, whatever you want to call it. And then they get Andrew Luck, and he's going to be the future for the next probably 20 years, the way QBs are able to last these days. And the Texans and the Titans and the Jags will always be the beneficiary of their stupid luck getting luck. I hate them.
And to combine 2 previous ones, if they can't get Lynch, what do you think about the Colts trading for Adrian?
That'd work for me better than Lynch.
Really?
How old is Adrian Peterson?
Adrian is going to be 30 next season.
How old is Marshawn Lynch?
I believe they're the same age, relatively.
Oh. I feel like, maybe I'm crazy here, but it feels like there's less wear and tear on Lynch.
Really? I kind of agree. I feel like they're kind of the same guy in that the running style is so physical and they actually seek out contact. They're relatively the same age. I think they probably have the same number of carries or are going to be relatively close. But I don't know, Adrian, by the time he suits up at week 1 next season, is only going to have 1 game in 20 months of contact.
Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe you're smarter than me on this. I mean, this one thing.
Well, either way, it's going to be bad for you because that means Trent Richardson isn't starting for the Colts.
I really like them having Trent Richardson as their premier back. That really was happy.
And the last trade before we hop into a game, Vincent Jackson, malcontent, underused down in Tampa, gets traded to the New England Patriots.
I could see that one easily.
Well, they were going to trade for Andre Johnson. That was the big hubbub before the trade deadline, right?
Was it?
I believe so. It was Andre Johnson or Larry Fitzgerald to the Patriots.
I think people just made that up. People just made that up. I don't think that was like anything that anyone had insider knowledge into, as far as I know.
All right. As far as I know is that it's time to play a little game for Sound Drop.
Play or nay?
Now it's time.
Oh my God, it's the longest sound drop ever.
Play or nay. I'm going to leave you talking over the sound drop because it's funny.
It's the longest ever. How am I supposed to stay silent that whole entire time?
That's what she said. Oh, God, I got to mark that one down. All right, so 21-20. That is the open of the show. All right. Play or nay, as always. Actually, Claire, what is the team and the parameters this time around?
I am going with asking Andrew questions about players who were drafted by the Minnesota Vikings throughout history.
Ooh. Now, drafted is the operating word here, or operative word.
Right.
Okay.
Because they all obviously played for the Vikings, but I want to know where they came from.
All right. And hand to God, I am not Googling, I'm not doing anything like that, but as always, we have our sound effects for a correct answer and an incorrect answer.
Hello?
And we have 9 questions, so there can't be any ties. I plan on rocking the hell out of Claire like a hurricane, and that's a musical reference that she'll probably not get because she is not into hair metal. But, Claire, whenever you are ready.
Man, I know the Scorps. Don't act like I don't know.
Man, I'm so cool I call them the Scorps, man.
That was what my daddy used to do. My crazy dad.
Do you call the Beatles the Beats?
No.
Those damn British Beats need a haircut.
He didn't call them that. No, he dug their hair. My dad was cool. Quit acting like he wasn't. Okay. First question. Was this player not drafted by the Minnesota Vikings? We're going to start with Brad Johnson.
Brad Johnson was not drafted by the Vikings. He was drafted by the Washington professional football team.
Was he?
Yes.
Are you positive?
Yes.
That's not what the Vikings website said.
I'm going to have to question the veracity on this because, actually, shoot, he might have been drafted by the Vikings. Check his Wikipedia page.
I am right now. The Minnesota Vikings drafted Brad Johnson in the 9th round of the 1992 NFL draft.
Son of a.
Hello?
Because I know he got it started in Washington under Norv Turner. And, well, damn it.
Sorry.
I was so confident in that one, too.
0-1. You're so 0-1 right now.
Hello?
Okay. The next one we're going to go with is one historical Vikings player of reasonable note. A man who played tackle by the name of Grady Alderman.
I said no.
If you say no, you would be correct.
I've never heard that name before in my life. Did you just make that name up?
Really? No. I found a list of Minnesota Vikings top 50 players of all time on Vikings.com, and I selected players from that list. So I figured they would be reasonably well known.
Well, there you be. That's a little bit under the radar for me, but at least I guessed correctly.
You did, and that counts. That counts a lot.
Slop counts.
Hey, I'll take it. Okay, so we're going to go back to my list. And I think some of these are going to be kind of under the radar, but they're fun this way.
Good.
You like it that way?
Yeah, it's like when I asked you if Cedric,
I'm trying to embarrass you
if Cedric Sabalos was an Aggie last week. No, he went to Cal State Fullerton.
Yeah. Okay, so it's fair. Okay. Let's go with a big-time draftee. He was drafted in the first round by somebody back in 1983. One Joey Browner, safety.
Yes, drafted by the Vikings.
Yes, you got it. You're now 2-1 in this exciting edition of Play or Nay.
Now, see, I remember that because he was part of the Elway to Marino documentary. And I was thinking,
okay.
Oh, not too bad. We'll take Joey Browner.
Okay.
Could have had Marino, though.
Dan Marino what?
Could have had Dan Marino, though, but we'll take Joey Browner.
Yeah. Well, you know, what you going to do? Okay, we're going to go to a current name, who very recent at least. We're going to go to a punter by the name of Chris Cluey. How'd that guy get there? Was he drafted by the Vikings? Yay or nay?
See, I know he Vikings were his first team. I don't know if he's drafted, though.
Drafted by. That's the technical question.
I know. That's why I'm deciding if he was undrafted or if he was drafted when he came in.
I'll let you decide that.
I'm going to say undrafted.
You got it.
Yes.
He was not drafted by the Vikings because he was an undrafted free agent.
But undrafted free agent at UCLA, and ironically, we did draft his replacement in 2012, Jeff Locke, 6th round, UCLA, which was his bone of contention. Wait, no, was that 2013? Yeah, it was 2013.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Yeah, kind of ironical. So, whatever.
So I am winning.
Oh, good for you.
A little bit. Now, this player, I hadn't heard of him, but he is third on the Vikings all-time receiving list, so I think that makes him a famous enough athlete within Viking circles to ask this question of.
Mm-hmm.
One tight end, Steve Jordan.
All right, Steve Jordan. Not sure if he was drafted. No, he spent a lot of his career here. Gosh. I'm going to say yes.
Well, sir, you guessed correctly.
Yes.
Yes. He was indeed drafted by the Vikings in 1982 and went on to become the most prolific tight end in Vikings history.
What school did he go to?
Oh, that's a good question. Let's see. He's from Arizona.
Oh, is he?
He went to school. Yeah, he went to place of birth. It doesn't have a school. Weird. He has a very small Wikipedia page.
Went from high school straight into the pros. Who knows? I know. I love it when your knees touch your elbows and break it down low.
Did you know his son is Cameron Jordan, the defensive end for New Orleans Saints?
Oh, they definitely played that up during the 2010 AFC championship or NFC championship game, 2009. Sorry.
Oh, my bad. I didn't know. I didn't pay that close of attention. Was that when Favre was starting at quarterback for you guys?
Yeesh.
I was eating Vietnamese crawfish in San Jose, California during that game. That was a pretty cool game. I mean, I'm sorry it turned out the way it did, but it was a pretty cool game. Okay, the next question, because Andy doesn't like this discussion at all.
I just like to make you feel awkward, which doesn't take much.
Yeah, it doesn't. I'm very awkward by nature. Yeah. Okay, so the next player we're going to go to is on the defensive side of the ball. He played safety. His name is Robert Griffith. And he played for the Vikings for a pretty darn long time.
Robert Griffith was, I'm pretty sure he was undrafted, but the Vikings were his first team, so I'm going to say no.
God, I hate you sometimes. How do you know these things?
Random retention of information.
Well, it sucks for me.
I couldn't even tell you my phone number right now, but I could tell you that Doug Chapman was a third-round pick out of Marshall.
Well, luckily he's not on the list.
Oh, good. That would have been so awesome if he was. You'd be so pissed.
I would be so pissed. I would start throwing things. But luckily, we're going to move back to the offensive side of the ball. We're going to go to the offensive line. We're going to go with a player who has not played in a while.
Mm-hmm.
His name is one Gary Zimmerman.
See,
do you remember Gary Zimmerman?
I do. See, I thought you were going to go cheap shot and be like, he hasn't played for a while, offensive lineman. Matt Khalil. No.
No, I didn't. I didn't do that.
All right, so Gary Zimmerman was drafted by the Vikings.
Sorry, he was not. He went through the USFL route.
Oh.
And he was drafted by the Los Angeles Express in 1984.
Mm-hmm.
And then the USFL folded in 86, and then Zimmerman joined the Vikings, and they obtained his rights from the Giants, who had drafted him in the 84 supplemental draft.
Wah, wah, wah. Screwball. That happens.
Well, you already won. You already have 5 correct, and so, you know.
It's all about pride and running up the score, because I'm Chip Kelly.
Hey, let's go with something else that's fun. Let's go with a player who is almost a household name for most football fans in this day and age. Let's go with one wide receiver, Ahmad Rashad. Was he or was he not drafted by the Minnesota Vikings?
Ahmad Rashad was drafted by the Vikings.
Sorry. He was the fourth player selected in the 1972 NFL draft, taken by the St. Louis Cardinals. Sorry.
I'm embarrassing myself down the stretch.
Well, it's okay. You've gotten 3 out of 8 wrong. That's not bad.
The original 28, Ahmad Rashad.
There you go.
Yes.
Okay, the last one. A super fantastic player that almost everyone in the NFL loved to hate.
Fuad Reveiz.
No.
Oh.
Let's talk about defensive tackle John Randall.
John Randall was undrafted out of Texas A&I Kingsville.
You got it, bro. You win. You win. You won the game. You totally were victorious. The crowd screams.
Oh, good for you.
You win. 6 and 3 in the game of play or nay, in which you answered none of the questions. Play or nay.
But it was the same gist, and my heart is so full right now, even though I messed up on Gary Zimmerman and Bobby Douglas. Or not Bobby Douglas, Ahmad Rashad.
That's okay.
What was his original name? It was Bobby something.
I don't know. I just found the Ahmad Rashad thing. Let's see. Robert Earl Moore.
Bobby Moore. There you go. All right, so that was segment 3 in the books. I am victorious. I'm about to take a victory lap outside in the cold, frigid snow. Will BRB Claire-Vs-Carlson. Andy Carlson of the Purple for the Win podcast here to tell you about Little G's Dentistry. Now, it's grilling season, boys and girls. And now I'm not talking about brats, burgers, chicken. No. I'm talking about ice on your grills, baby. Dentist Little G and his partner Jacob Meskovitz will make sure your teeth are blinged out for summer. I'm talking gold. I'm talking silver. I'm talking platinums, rubies, emeralds, amethysts, anything. Any sort of precious metal or jewels you want soldered onto your pearly whites, G and Meskovitz can do it. Now, they are not incorporated, they do not carry liability insurance, and they only take straight cash, homie, because they don't pay their taxes. Tell them the Purple for the Win sent you, and you'll get your 11th bejazzled tooth free. Yes, free. After you pay for the first 10 up front. So, what are you waiting for? Get your ass down to Little G's Dentistry and get your grill on, son. Their number is 651-555-TEEF. T-E-E-F. 651-555-TEEF. One last time, 651-555-TEEF. Bling bling, a bling blow. And we're back for the last quarter of the Claire-Vs-Carlson Show as Claire's little vibrator goes off in the background. Now, I have a very personal question for you, Claire. If Jerry Jones offered you $1 million to pee on him, would you do it?
Well, I don't have to put anything on me, so yeah, I'd pee on Jerry Jones. That would be like a dream come true, actually. He's paying me to pee on him?
Mm-hmm.
Game on, bro.
Wouldn't it sit with you that a little awkwardly with you that he's kind of enjoying it?
I don't care if he enjoys it. I have $1 million and I just got to pee without having to look for a bathroom.
All right, well, let's target a certain price point. What if he offered you $50,000?
I ain't doing anything for Jerry Jones that's less than $1 million.
So if he offered you $800,000 to take a piss on him, you would not do it?
I'd say, where's that other 200 G?
Child,
Jerry?
please. Gee whiz. And speaking of gee whiz and taking a piss on someone, Claire is basically just pissed all over my picks. Because all of my Hail Mary picks did not work out, and Claire only got 3 games wrong in the slate last week, and I only got 5 games right. So she now has a commanding 114 and 64 to 95 and 83 lead. So you're leading by 19 games. So good for you.
Yay, me!
And that includes the 3 Thanksgiving games, as I had Chicago, Philly, and San Francisco. She had the other sides on all 3, incidentally. So 1 and 2 there for me. And it's kind of over, Jenny. It's not looking good.
I'm going to start planning like what your avatar is going to be.
All right. So now I actually have a indecent proposal for you, Claire. So I would like to concede defeat on the playoff avatar bet at this point, but to keep things interesting for the rest of the games, I propose a second wager with you.
What is that? Please.
So starting now, Sunday's games, clean slate, not even including Thursday's games. The winner who has the best record of the remaining games from Sunday on through the rest of the regular season, the loser has to take a picture of themselves holding up a sign that says the winner, and the winner's Twitter handle, is the greatest person in the history of time, and other niceties that the winner comes up with.
Well, it depends on how extreme these niceties are going to be.
Now, it's like, have you ever seen where parents shame like their children? Like, I sent 4,000 text messages in 2 weeks, or whatever the signs say. It'll basically be that, except with nice frou-frou things.
Well, as long as you don't make it so that I have to demean myself and I can just say that you're freaking awesome, then I'm game.
No, it'll just be like something along the lines of Andy Carlson at Andy Carlson Show at Purple for the Win is a rock star and much better at me at picking Sunday Week 13 games onward than I. And
I can do that.
He's also generous, makes a mean cupcake, and makes a great turkey.
Okay.
Or something.
What's so great about your turkey? What did you do to your turkey that made it great?
See, the key is that you have to baste it every half hour. And plus, what you do is you brine it. Instead of thawing it, you put it in a brine with some salt, with some peppercorns, with some other spices, and get nice and briny. Make sure you pat it dry, and then rub it all over the place with olive oil. Lots of olive oil on that skin to get nice and crispy. Salt underneath the skin, and salt and pepper underneath the skin. And also keep that cavity empty. You can put like maybe an orange or maybe a sliced up apple in there, but no stuffing. No one's got.
No, I like celery up in there. I like the way celery tastes, and it.
That would be
what's
good
the
too.
word I like to use? It like osmosisizes throughout the entire turkey, or diffuses.
I know osmosisizes, I believe, is the technical term.
Okay, probably. I mean, I'm really smart, obviously.
You probably learned that in 4th grade when you were stealing encyclopedias.
Probably. No, that was pretty much, kindergarten. Go ahead.
When you were young, the kid should have gave you the nickname Britannica.
They probably should have, but...
Because that was the thing back then. Because my future kids, I'm going to buy them an encyclopedia set too. It's going to be called Wikipedia.
Well, seeing as how I was raised before the internet was born, yeah, that would have been, no.
All right, so, Claire, we are now 0-0 on our picks.
Wait.
Free at last.
So does that mean I can go ahead and give you your avatar and you're going to use it now since this other one is over?
Nope, still playoffs.
Well, then you can't act like this is a brand new start, because it's not then. You still have to pay the repercussions of losing the first round.
No, I've accepted losing that bet for the playoff duration. But now it's free at last. I have a chance to get even with our second bet.
You're not free.
What
you still have to pay.
My picks are going to be a lot more rational this time around, so I'm not going to pick Tennessee to beat Philadelphia at home or on the road.
Oh.
So, in the early games on Sunday, first one, Washington professional football team with Colt McCoy at the Indianapolis Colts. Who you got?
Well, not the team that Colt McCoy is leading. I think that's clear enough.
So you're picking Andrew Luck, and you're agreeing that he is a wonderful person on a great football team and organization?
Does a wonderful person who is in the public eye grow a beard like that the rest of us have to actually look at? No.
I think it's endearing.
A wonderful person does not. No, it's not.
And also his flip phone? Come on.
Oh, come on. Ugh. Andrew Luck can suck it. Okay?
I want my quarterback with a flip phone that does not have social media or Twitter because I want him buried ass deep in the playbook at 2:30 in the morning on a Saturday morning before the team makes a trip, unlike Johnny Manziel, who's out at the club.
Well, that's just fine and good and all. You know, I'm really happy for you and Andrew Luck. I hope you have a happy life together and have lots of cute little Asian beardy kids.
Light up my life.
No. Andrew Luck can suck it, and he's going to win on Sunday.
Tennessee at Houston, the battle for the middle of the AFC South. Who you got?
H-Town.
I have Houston as well. There's a little bit of Fitzmagic left in that stocking for Fitzmagic Bowl 2.0.
I think you're right. I think maybe you can pull something out of there. And I'm sorry, but the Titans look awful.
Sorry, Sharona. Bye, Felicia. Cleveland at the Buffalo Bills.
Man, Cleveland ain't been looking too hot.
Nope.
I think Buffalo can take them at home.
I'm taking the home team as well. They might not make the playoffs, but they are playing pretty damn hard for Doug Marrone down the stretch. San Diego at Baltimore.
Baltimore.
Yeah.
Please. That Gary Kubiak offense, you can't stop them.
Well, the tight end. You can't stop the tight end.
Daniels.
Yeah. It's San Diego. It's over, Johnny. Speaking of teams that peaked too early, San Diego.
Yeah.
Arizona.
Way
Dallas.
Too early.
Yeah. It's have you ever seen Fast and the Furious?
I think so. Maybe.
All right. So, like the kid who hits the NOS button way too early, and then the guy in the other car is like, too soon, rookie. And then.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Just like that. The New York Football Giants at the Jacksonville, kind of about football Jaguars.
This will be like awful, and the Giants will win hugely over the Jags.
Yeah, I picked the Giants as well. The Jaguars, I think they're just hitting a wall. Bortles, he started out okay, and is just kind of falling apart at the seams now. I think it has something to do with him dumping Lindsey Duke. I believe it.
Oh, I didn't know that he dumped her.
Yeah, it was a couple of weeks ago. It was kind of a thing. So now she's available. Just putting that out there.
Oh. Well, then maybe she wants Andy.
No. See, I'm married, but I'm just putting it out there for all the single people in the Florida area. Just saying.
Okay. Have fun, Florida.
What if Russell Wilson, who was recently divorced, comes in on that?
Well, I guess good for Russell Wilson. I mean, I could
yet another fumble recovery for Russell Wilson because he had like 2 miracle ones last night, by the way.
But yeah, no, that was good.
Oh yeah, all right. So where is that? I have to give myself one. What's that damn button? There we go. Cincinnati at Tampa Bay. This one is going to be ugly to watch. Who you got?
Cincinnati?
You sound very confident in that pick.
Not.
This one I'm going to disagree, and I think this one might get a little wonky. Tampa's defense is playing a lot better. I'm going to take Tampa at home.
Okay, fair enough.
Hot
takes.
Oakland at St. Louis.
St. Louis.
I have St. Louis as well, although I think Oakland might cover the point spread, which they're getting a touchdown on the road because ain't nobody got time for St. Louis. New Orleans at Pittsburgh. Speaking of bloodbath.
Oh. Well, hopefully, I would like to see Pittsburgh return to form and just annihilate New Orleans, but I don't think they'll annihilate them, but I do think they'll win.
I think this is going to be ugly. Saints, much different team on the road. They've lost 3 at home anyways, and that defense is going to be woof. And Roethlisberger might throw 7 touchdowns on Sunday.
Okay, fair enough.
Carolina at the Minnesota Fighting Vikings.
I'm going to go with the Vikings here. I don't trust Carolina.
Same. And even though Carolina's coming off the bye, Cam Newton sacked NFL third in the NFL, 32 sacks so far. I think the defense is going to get loose on him and Hunt. And
loosey-goosey.
It might be a blowout. I don't know. I guess
oh,
we'll
my God. I think that's really aiming high, but go ahead.
Arizona at Hotlanta.
Arizona. And there's nothing hot about Atlanta except for the temperature.
Atlanta's not looking good. I kind of went back and forth on this because Arizona with Stanton hasn't been that great either. Larry Fitzgerald might not even play in this game, but I picked Arizona on the road as well.
There you go.
So good luck, us. New England at Green Bay, which is going to be an awesome game.
Ooh, I'm going Green Bay at home.
Unfortunately, I'm going Green Bay at home as well. They're a fantastic team. And it pains me to say that since they are our number one rival, but they're a solid team from top to bottom. And if the playoffs have to go through Green Bay, which if Arizona keeps reeling, they might have to be, I don't think anyone's going to beat them.
Fair enough.
Because the Giants aren't making the playoffs, and the Giants are the only teams that can beat the Packers at Lambeau in the playoffs.
That's true.
Well, them and Atlanta, Michael Vick, I guess. But Denver at Kansas City.
Denver.
I'm going Kansas City at Arrowhead. I think they rally the troops and get behind the whole Barry Strong thing, and I think they get it done against Denver. Denver is not the same team as last year.
Can we quit with the whole? No, I know you didn't start this. I know that they started it, and I know that it continues every time somebody gets cancer with the something strong because of the Lance Armstrong Live Strong thing. It's Lance Armstrong. Lance Armstrong. Not Barry. Not Questenberry. Not Chuck Pagano. It's not anybody. It's Lance Armstrong. Live strong.
It's a double entendre for strength, Claire.
Whatever.
Miami at the New York Jets on Monday Night Football. This on the 20th anniversary this week of the fake spike. Bring it. Who you got?
Miami.
Yeah, I got Miami too.
Mm-hmm.
Poor Jets. I think we only differ on one game, so it might be a little tight. Nope, two. All right, so you got Cincinnati on the road. I got Tampa at home. And I have KC at home in Arrowhead. Very strong. I don't care, Claire. And you have the Broncos on the road for some reason. I don't know why. It's like you think that they're a good football team.
They're better than KC.
Debatably. All right, and bring it home. Claire, are you a big movie person? I think we talked about this before.
Really, no. But let's go ahead and try it.
How do you not like movies?
Because 90% of them are disappointments, and you realize they're disappointments either an hour to 2 hours into investing your time.
No, we're not talking about your Tinder matches. We're talking about movies here, Claire.
I don't do Tinder.
That's probably a good thing. All right, so this is a list of movies that are either holiday related or coming out in the next couple of months. And we just want to tell you a little bit of what they actually mean and what the movies are actually about. It's not
so
what the movie
this is
poster
an Andy
says.
segment.
Yeah. All right, so
okay, go ahead.
First one is Exodus. Now, a lot of people think that it's a biblical story about Pharaoh and Moses. No. This is a movie about the bandwagon of Teddy Bridgewater. Because everybody leaving. They gone.
Oh, are they? Are they done?
But don't come back. He's our guy.
They always come back.
It also could be a movie about the Jadeveon Clowney bandwagon.
Jadeveon Clowney can suck my big toe. I have had about enough. Apparently, it just broke that O'Brien says he doesn't expect Clowney to play on Sunday. And I knew it going in. I'm not being that girl who's all, I told all you people he wasn't going to play or he was going to be a bust. No, he's not a bust yet. And I get it, he's injured, and we'd give the same respect to Arian Foster or Ryan Mallett or somebody else. Fact of the matter is, the dude hadn't played. He hadn't shown anything. And everyone can defend him all they want to, but the dude hasn't played. I'm done. End rant.
The next holiday movie coming out is a film called Life Partners, which is about Jim Harbaugh and Colin Kaepernick 2 years ago.
That sounds cute. I can see that.
Not so much anymore because Harbaugh is going to be gone. Ann Arbor and Kaepernick. With that pay-as-you-go contract, I don't think he's a lock to be in San Francisco in 2 years.
That's a good point. Especially with a new coaching staff in place in 2 years.
Although, if Chip Kelly could get a hold of Colin Kaepernick,
ooh, boy, howdy.
That would be disgusting. Actually, I was trying to think the other day, who would be one quarterback that Chip Kelly could not win with?
Ryan Fitzpatrick?
Probably. Because, I swear, if Tebow got a shot in the NFL with Chip Kelly, I think they could be okay.
Fair enough.
He caters to his players' strengths, and the concepts get players so wide open that even Tebow can hit it.
Good point. Good point.
Next movie is called Before I Disappear, which is a film about RG3 before he's traded to the Jets.
Boom.
All right, no, we should have gone Oakland because that would have been a way better disappear, except they got Derek Carr there anyways. But when RG3 plays for the Jets, I think it'll be about 2 years, and then you just get me going. It'll be a disaster LOL Jets moment again.
That would be good. I mean, I'm not anti-RG3. I think that he doesn't want to be aloof and awkward, but then he's put into horrible situations by his coaches where he can't win, and then his aloofness and awkwardness is on display.
Claire, are you a female version of RG3?
Am I aloof and awkward?
Your aloof and awkwardness is amplified by the coaching staff and ownership.
Well, I don't have a coaching staff, so no.
Damn.
I know. I ruined it, right?
Wah.
See, that's where the aloofness and awkwardness comes in.
There you go. Antarctica, a year on ice, and a lot of people think it's a little documentary about Antarctica. No, unfortunately, very sadly, it is the Todd Gurley movie.
Ow!
Wah.
That one hurt. Well, if you care about Georgia.
I think a year on ice, Lattimore style, will probably be the best thing for him because it wasn't as catastrophic a tear as Lattimore's was, which was a complete reconstruction.
Right.
Gurley's just seems like a run-of-the-mill ACL, and a lot of guys, Adrian Peterson 2012, look at that. That's the benchmark for ACL recovery. And I think a year away, since he tore it late in the season, probably be for the best, and get drafted in the NFL next year, spend a year in IR, then come back stronger than ever. It'd still be a happy story.
Fair enough.
The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies, starring Cole Beasley.
Oh.
What a jerk.
Just a jerk. Screw Cole Beasley.
Giving SMU a bad name.
Which, it's SMU, so yeah, that's not easy to do.
SMU reportedly hiring Chad Morris as their head coach.
They are?
Apparently. Offensive genius, guru.
Oh, I was thinking of Zach Morris. That's the guy from Saved by the Bell.
Yes, Franklin and Bash is canceled, so they're hiring Zach Morris to coach SMU.
Well, I didn't know. I don't keep up with goings-ons at SMU.
All right, 2 left. The Imitation Game, which is not about the English breaking the German Enigma code during World War II. It is a movie about the entire NFL after watching Chip Kelly's offense yesterday.
Yes. Fact. Everybody thinks they can do it.
It would be fun to watch.
I'd watch it.
Bring it home.
I mean, on Redbox or something.
And the last one is Jurassic World, which is not a reboot of the Jurassic Park franchise. Rather, is a documentary about the Oakland Raiders roster.
Oh.
Kashab is old. Justin Tuck is old. Maurice Jones-Drew is old. Charles Woodson, Antonio Smith, they all old.
I thought we were going to say something about Chris Bosh because he looks like a dinosaur.
And the fact that he spurned Houston because he didn't want all that pressure to win.
Yeah. Exactly. He looks very pterodactyl-y. He could be a pterodactyl.
He could be.
All
right, Claire, is there anything else you got on your plate? Anything get off your chest before we go?
No, I think I'm good. Thanks, though. Thanks for the opportunity.
No, you were very honest and open. I think it might have been the champagne talking.
Could have been. Probably was. I feel like I have to really enunciate when I have the champagne flowing through my veins.
Why's that? Oh, because you're a little bit cut, Claire.
I don't want to be all slurry and difficult to understand.
Listen here. So, I take a Jello shot whenever I see a Jello shot. because I'm Claire.
No, I don't. Well, I guess maybe that might be kind of true.
Claire A Mullins, aloof and awkward, at the Claire Bear 23, Candy Court aficionado, a turkey hater, NFL female podcast. I'm Andy Carlson at Purple for the Win at Andy Carlson Show. You knew that already. Part of the Late Night Sports Radio Network, latenightsportsradio.com. Our Twitter handle is what again, Claire? What is it? It's
Claire-Vs-Carlson.
Booyah. Booyah. So any parting words, Claire, any wisdom to share that you have come across in your 25 years of existence that might help the listeners out?
Sparkling wine the day after wine for dinner will alleviate your hangover.
What she really meant to say is, if you're hungover, keep drinking.
Don't stop. Can't stop, won't stop.
Wasn't that the Frank Sinatra motif or modus operandus? Except then, towards the end of his life, you have to have like the biggest hangover ever. Is that correct? If you just keep putting it off?
I think so. I think it does get worse. It like exponentiates itself every time. Yeah.
Claire is slurring her words like the Washington professional football team. So we are out of here. Andy Carlson, Claire Mullins. Say goodnight, Claire.
Good night, Claire.
We're out of here. Claire, go take a number 3.
I don't know what that is.
The music was created and produced by Deeb. To hear more of his tracks, check out soundcloud.com/Deeb.